When I was a child, there was a long period of my life that I barely remember clearly. Not because nothing happened, but because too much did. One of those memories came back to me recently while I was casually chatting with a friend. At first, it felt almost funny, absurd even. But the more I thought about it, the more disturbing it became. When I was around 11 or 12 years old, I lived for months in a bedroom where a dead skunk was decomposing under my closet, and I didn't notice. That's not an exaggeration. I genuinely did not notice the smell, and somehow neither did the adults around me. At the time, my parents were already divorced. I was living with my mom, my brother, and her boyfriend. We lived far outside the city in a quiet, rural area in an old double-wide trailer surrounded by woods and open land. My bedroom was not part of the original house. It was an extension added onto the back of the trailer. It had thinner walls, different flooring, and it felt separate, like it wasn't really part of the home. Behind my bedroom was a cliff, a real one. The edge of the gorge was only about 10 to 15 feet from the wall where I slept. During heavy storms, I used to have the same recurring nightmare. I would dream that the ground beneath my room collapsed and my bed slid forward, straight into the darkness below. I would wake up terrified, heart racing, convinced for a moment that it had actually happened. Back then, I didn't understand why I was always afraid. Now I think fear was simply the background noise of my childhood. At some point during that time, a skunk died underneath my closet. I don't know how it got there. I don't know if it crawled in or fell from the cliff or had been trapped. I don't even know when it happened. All I know is that slowly my room began to smell. Not suddenly, not all at once. It crept in. The smell soaked into everything, my clothes, my bed sheets, my backpack. It followed me everywhere. Here's the part that still unsettles me the most. I have an extremely sensitive sense of smell. Always have. I notice things other people completely miss, but during that time, I noticed nothing. Looking back, I realize I was deeply dissociated. I wasn't fully present in my own life. I showered regularly, my clothes were clean. Yet every day, I walked into school smelling like a rotting animal. Bullying had already been part of my life. I was quiet, sensitive, different. I was autistic, though undiagnosed at the time. Kids sensed that immediately. But during that period, the bullying shifted. Comments turned to whispers, whispers turned to laughter. People started saying I smelled bad. I didn't understand. We had horses, our neighbors had cows, other kids lived around animals too, so why was it me? I remember feeling confused, ashamed, and somehow responsible for something I couldn't even identify. People often ask how no adult noticed. The truth is, they probably did. But because we lived right next to wild land, the smell could easily be blamed on something outside, something down in the gorge. My bedroom was isolated. It didn't share walls with other bedrooms. If anyone noticed anything at all, it was ignored. And no one checked how it was affecting me. Eventually, something forced the issue. Either the school contacted my parents or my father noticed something was wrong. I don't remember exactly. What I do remember is the day the smell stopped being ignored. That's when they found it, a dead skunk, decomposing beneath my closet after months. Even after it was removed, the damage was already done. The embarrassment lingered. The bullying didn't stop immediately. Not long after, I moved in with my father and transferred to a new school, a different place, a different building, but the same feeling of being unwanted. Today, I still react strongly to the smell of a skunk. My body tenses, my chest tightens, especially when I'm out walking my dogs and catch that familiar scent. Skunks are actually adorable animals, I know that, but fear doesn't care about logic. Because sometimes a smell isn't just a smell. It's a reminder of how long a child can exist in discomfort without anyone truly noticing.